movement catches my eye and I look up to see Yuko smiling and waving to someone outside. Following her gaze surprisingly reveals the someone to be Hanako. She is looking at us from the side of the street across from where we are. Her usually all too visible timidity is largely absent, probably thanks to there being so few people around right now. Evidently she decides to join us, as after a little wave she gives a quick glance up and down the street and crosses towards the side that the cafe is on. The familiar doorbell to the Shanghai rings out as Hanako enters and makes her way to the table we're sitting at. Hello. Good afternoon. Hi Hanako, what's up? Nothing, just going for a walk since the weather was nice. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm glad I decided to study here instead of the library. It's comfortable in here, thanks to that. Better than sometimes quite stuffy library. I look to Yuko, who nods in response. It's nice, it's just a shame that summer can't last forever. So true. Oh wait, sorry, would you like a drink? Hanako shakes her head. Thankfully it's enough to calm Yuko back down. How are you going with studying? Okay-ish. Oh yeah, have you talked with Lily? I'm interested too. How is she doing? She's enjoying it, I think. I think that's all we're going to get out of her. Being around Yuko is tensing her up. It would be so nice to travel to Scotland. Green fields, castles, lovely small towns, men in kilts, interesting history. Speaking of castles, and no, that's about it. Just, well, maybe some green fields. I'm addicted to Game of Thrones right now. Fucking love it, amazing show. I really want to read the books, but it's one of those things where you've already seen the video, the visual, the movie, the whatever it is, movie, TV show, program, whatever it may be, regarding whatever it is. Can someone out there tell me, is by me already seeing majority of the TV show, does that ruin the books? Or, are the books still going to be good if I read the books? Someone tell me. Nice little tangent there. I can't say that I see the appeal of men in kilts myself. Oh, I don't know, Hisao, I think you're into that sort of thing. It does seem like a picturesque place though. I've always wanted to go to Ireland. Don't ask me why, I don't know, I've just always wanted to go to Ireland. As we talk, the jingle of the doorbell rings again. Hanako is startled, noticing Yuko's panicked expression at the prospect that she might leave customers to wait a handful of seconds due to her chatter with us. Mouth is quite big at the moment, Hanako. Imagine what we could fit in there. Fit a nice piece of bread in there, because she's hungry. She might want some food. Yuko gives us a quick bow, then hastily skittles over and greets the new customers. An elderly man and his wife. I watch her for a bit, craning my head around to get a good view. Hanako is staring at me with her one visible eye. She averts her head in embarrassment as I turn to make eye contact. I was just thinking that it's nice to have ambitions for the future. Yuko was telling me a little about her university aspirations before. It's a shame. If she wasn't so neurotic and overworked, I think she could be a really happy person. The way this whole story is written, it just sounds and feels, well, when I'm reading it, it feels like it's real life. It's very, you connect with the characters very well. It's an incredible writing. I can't actually remember if I read that. Okay, I did. As much as I'd like to play host to Hanako and entertain her a bit, I need to do study as well. To be honest, I don't think the distraction from Yuko helped either. Sorry if I'm a bit distracted, I need to try and get this done, otherwise I'm going to flunk the history exams pretty hard. I'm left running my hand through my hair in frustration. That letter needs doing as well once I get back to my dormitory room. I hope I have more luck with that than this. Damn. What with? Oh, I was going to write to Hanako. Right now though, this is more important. All I've done is rattle myself. I can't focus on the work in front of me when my stomach is slowly turning at the prospect of actually attempting to write her back after all this time. That was said with one breath. Force myself to concentrate on the book, picking up my pen once I have a quick sip of coffee. After a few seconds, Hanako stopped silently watching me lean back in my seat, relaxing as much as she ever seems to be able to, looking out the window to pass the time. I know I fucked that up. We stay like this for a long time before leaving the dormitories together. I'm surprised she had the patience to wait me out. Awanako's letter lies on my desk beside a blank sheet of lined paper and an unused envelope. Tapping of my pen is the only thing to be heard this late at night. As I feared, my second task for the day turns out to be just as difficult as the first, if not harder. It's been so many months since we saw each other. Even so, I can still remember what she looked like, what she sounded like, and what she acted like. By now though, the little details are beginning to slip away. When I first saw her letter, I barely recognised her handwriting at all. Even the pink pen she always used was forgotten until her writing reminded me of it. Maybe she just ran out of ink. Did you ever think of that, Hisao? Eh? Come on, bro. I wonder why she didn't use it for the letter. I just said. She used to write everything with it. Maybe she thinks it's too immature now. No, she ran out of ink. I should be thinking about myself and about what I want to communicate to her. My mind can't stop concentrating on her though, on the past we shared before it was taken away so suddenly. The bright and slightly garish decorations suit her sense of aesthetics. Picking up the letter to take a closer look at it, I give a long sigh. This is the last link binding me to my past. Hanako didn't suddenly cease to exist when she left my hospital room for the last time, but I needed this letter to remind me of that. I had all those feelings neatly filed away. I felt as if I didn't need them, that I couldn't just begin life completely anew. It was easier that way. In the end, I suppose that was a rather naive thing to think. Sooner or later, my past would have caught up with me one way or another, or the other. But what am I supposed to say to her? Thank you for bringing me closure? All the letter did was end the sense of closure I'd previously felt. Try as I might, I can't write so much as a single word down on the paper in front of me. I can't even think of what exactly I want to say. Putting the letter down on top of the blank sheet, I gather the materials together and file them away in my drawer. The clunk the desk makes as it closes makes me momentarily tense in frustration, before I get up to grab a drink from the vending machine on the first floor. Oh god, tell me it's not Kenji. I tried but I couldn't do it. After all that time that's passed, I still don't know how to deal with Hanako. Another heart so soon? Stay tuned next episode for Katawa Shoujo. Just kidding, I'm not actually going yet. The library, while not humming with activity, is noticeably more busy than usual. Exams are not far away, and that's reflected in the number of students burying their noses in textbooks at the tables around us. I've been studying quite a lot in the past few days, just like them, in hope of doing well in the exams. This means a lot that Hanako and I have been playing games less, so she's been studying as well just to fill in the time. Nevertheless, I found myself forsaken by her on this particular day. The textbook in front of me has remained on the same page for some time. After so much reading on subjects I couldn't care less about if not for the exams, my mind is beginning to wander. I find my eyes flicking over to where Hanako would usually be. Just like on these days, she wasn't in class. Her usual beanbag in the corner of the room was conspicuously unoccupied. It was here that we first really met. I tried to start a conversation with her, she got skittish and eventually bottled from the room altogether. I've got to go do something. Chum. I Probably shouldn't smile about it, but it was kind of amusing in hindsight. Nowadays, it's more and more difficult to imagine her doing such a thing. Even with Lily gone, she's been doing well now that she's come out of her room. I want to talk with her, or at least play another game of chess. I'm tired of studying, and it's been a few days since we've really done anything together. The question of where to find Hanako isn't a particularly difficult one. If she's not in the library, chances are that she's either in the tea room for some peace and quiet, or in her dormitory room. Go to her dormitory room. She might be naked. No, okay, I'm just kidding. Hisao is not like that. He would not take advantage of a female being like that. He's a gentleman. Gentleman and a scholar. Deciding to check them in that order, I pack up my books and make my way out of the library. I stretch and give a loud groan. As I walk down the hallway. So studying may be frustrating at times, but with the progress I feel I've made, there is also some sense of pride in getting it done. It's a good feeling. There isn't a sound to be heard from inside as I stand in the front of the door to Hanako's room. I guess that isn't very indicative of whether she's inside or not, given how quiet she usually is. Still, she wasn't in the tea room. I try knocking lightly to make my presence known, but am surprised when I find the door unlocked and yielding at my touch. With a small creak, the door opens. It looks like my suspicions were correct. Hanako is indeed here. She's sitting at the table with an open book in front of her, but pays it no heed as she keeps looking out the window. She looks utterly oblivious to my presence. With her head thoughtfully resting on her hand, she looks calm and collected. It's a shame she can't look like this more often. Smiling a little, I walk up to the table and softly speak to her. Good evening, Hanako. Hanako's head turns a little to see me, but she's still only half there. I put a hand on the table and lower my head to better look at her face, mildly curious about what mood she's in. What's up? She gasps a little, finally acknowledging my presence in the room for the first time. Hanako's blushing really heavily. Her mouth is open just a little, as if I'd paused mid-sentence. Most striking, though, is what she's doing. She's looking directly at me. Her eyes are pinned on my own, from such a close distance that I can almost see my reflection in them. They don't turn away, nor move at all. They're absolutely still, just looking into mine. They're dark, and give her an almost analytical air. Even when reading on subjects has no interest in, she would appear to be wrapped in her work to a casual observer. She absorbs information very well, and even now, I can feel that. I feel like I'm seeing something behind those eyes that I've never seen before. I don't know what it is though. Fuck, my computer is incredibly loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the fan in my computer is just being completely obnoxious and being a right cunt. Hanako? Her lips move just a little, silently mouthing something. She looks like she's on the verge of saying something, but won't say it. But that's the way Hanako always is, on the verge of saying something, but never quite doing it. As I look intently into her eyes, I realize something. Everyone has their own thoughts, things they want to say, their own worldview, but I can't work out what Hanako wants to say, and I can't quite work out what she's thinking. I have never been able to. It's frustrating. It feels like I don't know her at all, despite all the time we've spent together. Hisao. It's only now that I find myself blushing. I've been looking directly into Hanako's eyes from such a short distance with absolutely no regard for her, and she's been looking into mine without shrinking away. I quickly look away while covering my face with my hand. Hanako does just the same. Another awkward silence reigns. I hate these. At first I accepted them just as being a fact of life around Hanako, but now all they feel like is an affirmation of how little we're able to communicate. Some anger makes its way into the complex mixture of emotions I'm experiencing right now. I want to bridge that gap between us. Friends shouldn't have to tiptoe around each other like this. I speak before I can argue myself out of what I'm going to do. My scarring isn't as bad as Hanako's, and I can't possibly compare my life to hers, but I want to show her that she's not alone. Doing this in such a blunt manner might be the only way to get my point across. Hanako, I want to show you something. I take a deep breath and prepare myself. This could backfire badly, but I feel as if we've come close enough for this to be okay. I'm not going to strip naked or anything weird. I'm just going to take off my shirt. Hanako's eyes grow to the size of saucers. Her face is an amusing mixture of curiosity and nervousness as she stands. It helps take the edge off my own nervousness at doing this in front of another person. Slowly, with my entire body feeling tense, I unknot my tie and begin to loose the first of the buttons. I'm trying to mentally block out Hanako to make this easier, but it's not really working. As I work my way down, I expect to hear some form of protest from her, like, "Stop!" But all she says is, "Keep going." God, that was disgustingly dirty, and I feel bad for saying that. She remains silent, though, which just makes us feel even stranger. With the last of my shirt unbuttoned, I take a deep breath and look at her. Hanako's gaze is fixed on my scarring, as expected, and once I nod to say it's okay, she steps forward and tentatively places her hands on the vertical line running down my chest. Scarring on her hand, a pattern of damaged skin across its surface, contrasts with the single uniform line that makes up mine. Her hand isn't trembling at all, unlike what I predicted. This is the scar from the surgery that followed my heart attack. The surgeons had to cut open my chest to operate on my heart. I never knew. Nako's words are calmer and softer than usual. The soft feeling of her fingers moving from my scar to my breast makes me hesitate a little before continuing on. You're the first person to see this since I left the hospital. But why are you showing this to me? I wanted to prove myself that I could do this, that I could accept my past and move on. I wanted to show that to you as well. She nods. From her reaction, she seems to know how difficult this is for me. More than anything, the scar represents a visible reminder of my condition, a reminder that I'm not normal anymore. That's something that, until now, I've tried my hardest to ignore. As the minutes tick by, Hanako's gaze lingers. Her eyes look less focused on my scarring than before. The situation feels a bit different than it previously did and makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. Her hand retreats and I draw my shirt close and begin to button it up. Her blushing face suddenly returns to its typical tense and timid state as she looks away. The room is completely silent as I fix my shirt and tie, feeling put off after such an unexpectedly intimate moment. So, I guess you're not the only one that's scarred. Hanako smiles a little at the joke, thankfully lightening up the atmosphere a bit. Thank you, Hisao. I think I understand. I give a long sigh of relief. I really didn't know how she'd take it, but I'm glad everything seems to have worked out as I hoped. Hanako's smile only proves that further. I'm finding the path I want to follow now, and what Hanako needs to do is to find her own. It's something I can't help her with, and it's something that she needs to do to overcome her past in order to do so. Hanako checks her watch. It's getting late by now. Hisao, would you like to sleep with me tonight? Yeah, I'd better get... You didn't let her finish, Hisao. She was gonna... Oh, man. This is why you don't get any, bro. I'll be thankful for some sleep. It's been a long day after all. Good night, Hanako. Good night. I make my way out of her room into the hallway, remaining silent as I do so. I think both of us have gone through a few motions today. And with that, we take part. I can't remember what part. 30 something, maybe? No, don't give me this. I know. No, I don't want another part, no? Stop. Don't you say so. Alright, yeah. I don't know what to say. guys next part. Goodbye.